everyone, my name is Yoon, and I'm a graduate student and an author of a paper called Querying Stakeholders to Inform Comparative Effectiveness Research. In this video, Carol, our patient representative, and I will discuss patient and other stakeholder engagements in comparative effectiveness research. Comparative effectiveness research, abbreviated as CER, is research that identifies what health interventions work best for improving health. The primary goal of CER is to provide stakeholders with the evidence needed to make informed healthcare decisions. Previously, research was designed and conducted primarily by researchers with limited stakeholder involvement. However, stakeholder engagement in CER has gained increased attention in recent years as an effective way of aligning research efforts with the needs of real-world decision-makers.
CER represents a seismic shift in how health research is conducted. When I first got involved with it 6 years ago, the focus was on challenging researchers to involve patients in designing, conducting, and reporting on studies. That phase of changes acknowledged that researchers had clearly conducted groundbreaking studies with little patient input in the past, but cautioned that the resulting findings often fail to help patients and their providers make real-world decisions about treatment options. That made so much sense to me because I have 2 major chronic health conditions. Studies I would read usually focused on just one of my conditions, but excluded patients with other health issues. So those studies didn't help me have the complicated discussions I needed to have with my providers. And at my age, most patients have more than one health condition to manage.
That's a good example of how important it is for researchers to generate research findings with practical value. Stakeholder engagement can increase the acceptance of study results and accelerate the dissemination and adoption of evidence into practice. However, despite the growing recognition of the value of stakeholder engagement in research, there is limited guidance on how to effectively elicit stakeholder views during the research process.
Yes, I recently met with a newly funded study team who wanted to learn how to bring patient advisors onto the team. The team wanted to know how to recruit patients and how to encourage them to participate in study design decisions, toward the ultimate goal of conducting a study that produced relevant and practical findings for people with that health condition. As committed as the study team was to the idea of patient advisory team members, they soon realized how challenging it would be to engage a diverse set of stakeholders throughout the research process. As they struggled to contribute to study design decisions, patients came to realize they weren't the only ones facing a new challenge. Researchers were struggling to learn how to understand patients' daily experiences with the health condition under study. Everyone on the team would have to learn new ways of interacting.
Yes, it can be very challenging, which is why we at the University of Maryland tried to put together a practical guide, a cookbook which outlines the potential role of each stakeholder throughout the CER process and provide examples of practical questions that researchers can ask stakeholders at each step of the CER process. The stakeholders involved in each project would differ on a case-by-case basis, but we discuss 4 primary stakeholder groups: policymakers, providers, payers, and of course, patients.
Can you give me an example of a question you might ask me or other patients?
Very early on in the research process, when we're trying to decide on a research topic, we might ask, what are your biggest concerns about your treatment options? Or, what decisions related to your medical condition would you like to have addressed through research?
I can answer those questions. I'm glad you are asking these kinds of questions early on. I wonder if you might also ask something about the patient's daily life at home, outside of their office visits to providers. Something like, If there was one thing you wish your healthcare providers could understand about the daily challenges you face managing your health condition, what would that be?
Thank you, Carol. That's a great question, which will initiate interesting discussions.